And obviously, the administration will, I'm sure, be aware that Democrats are going to be watching in the House and the Senate, and any moves that Jonathan Lemire are too obvious will obviously bring not only a lot of criticism, but also possible potential fodder. Because, again, there's always a midterm election 2 years away, and we saw what happened in 2018. That's obviously something that Donald Trump will want to repeat, will not want to repeat in 2026. But talk about this moment, Donald Trump getting off of his plane and going to be coming down in Washington, back to the White House for the first time since January 20th, 2021.
Yeah, since he left that day, choosing not to attend Joe Biden's inauguration, his exit coming exactly 2 weeks after the insurrection that he inspired at the U.S. Capitol. And now he returns as president-elect. He, of course, has been to D.C. a number of times over the campaign for various events.
Right.
But this is the first time he will have been at Joint Base Andrews since leaving office. This is the Air Force Base just outside Washington that is home to Air Force One. And we, in a moment or two, will likely see him come out of the door there at the front of the plane and head down the steps to, I would assume, his waiting motorcade to then head to the Hill first, we believe, and then on to the White House. We'll keep an eye on if we do spot Elon Musk as well. But this is a significant moment for Donald Trump, the beginning of a victory lap, if you will. Unthinkable. His political reputation, his presidency in tatters when he left office. Few would have predicted this comeback. And there we see him now stepping out of the front of his plane at Joint Base Andrews, heading down the steps. This will be a moment where, when he meets in the Oval Office with President Biden, we should expect the two men to make small talk for the cameras. It's unclear if they'll take any questions from the press. They will then meet privately. Perhaps President Biden will offer some advice. That's normally what incumbent presidents do to their successors, but there's nothing normal about this situation at all. The visceral dislike between the two men, who, of course, have been attacking each other for years from the campaign trail and beyond. But now President Biden deciding to revive a tradition that Donald Trump did not offer him, which is to host his successor at the White House. And, Joe, certainly for Biden, as personally heartbroken, as personally disappointed, and I'd argue, I've been told from others, disgusted as he is at the thought of Donald Trump being president again, he knows the country does need to see a sign, a symbol, an image of a peaceful transfer of power, hence the Oval Office meeting in a couple hours.
Well, this is, except for 4 years ago, this is what happens. And again, very few incoming presidents are liked by the incumbent president who is leaving, who thinks they did a better job. I spoke earlier this morning about Harry Truman being insulted by Ike, just sitting there and looking bored while he was giving him advice. And then, of course, JFK, him lecturing JFK. So it's going to be fascinating. Andrew Ross Sorkin, your thoughts?
I think you need this moment in a way. I know there's some folks who are going to be very frustrated by it. But I think it's one of those moments where you want to be, you want to see the country come together, no matter what side of the aisle you're on in these circumstances. It's something I think most Americans wished had happened the first time around. So I don't think there's much more to say about it than that.
Okay, very good. Coming up.